Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate as well as Remax Realtron, back with another video for you guys today. In today's video, I'm actually going to explain how realtors get paid and go through the step-by-step and the chain of events, basically how the gears turn and the machinations of it to show you how it happens. Before we get to it, please, as always, comment, rate, and review. Subscribe if you like the video. If you don't do any of those things. Maybe do review and leave a bad review. And if you want to check out in the description, I'm going to provide a link to my podcast with a colleague of mine. It's just, a podcast about real estate finances, just a casual podcast. We try to be informative, but keep it fun. So check that out as well if you can. So how do realtors get paid? So in order to explain, I'm going to use a hypothetical transaction. Let's say there's a house on the market for $1 million. And that's how much it gets sold for $1 million. Now, as I've explained in previous videos, obviously there needs to be a deposit, not a down payment. Don't confuse the two, but a deposit. The buyer has to submit a deposit either with the offer or after the offer gets accepted to show as a point of consideration that he is serious about the transaction and there is some sort of security involved for both parties. Now let's say in this case there's a deposit of $100,000, so 10% of the purchase price. Now once the offer is accepted, meaning the seller agrees that he is going to sell it at $1 million to this individual, what happens is the deposit does not go to the seller directly. That means it's not as if as soon as both parties agree, the seller receives the deposit. What actually happens is that the deposit, this $100,000 check, goes to the trust account of the brokerage, which the seller is using to sell his or her property. A trust account or a trust agreement in the world of finance and business is any financial and legal agreement between two parties wherein one party agrees to hold on to a sum of money in trust for another party in order to be repaid or given back at a future date according to the terms and conditions of that specific agreement. So with our case, what happens is the brokerage keeps that $100,000 in their account for the seller. And they keep it until the transaction closes. Now, once again, I've made videos about this in the past. When a transaction closes, that is the official date where the names on the title of the property gets changed, the keys gets exchanged, the seller disposes of it legally, the buyer acquires it legally. That's when everything is officially done. So what does this have to do with how real estate agents get paid? Well, on the day of closing, the money that's going to be used to pay the realtors and compensate them for their services in the terms of remuneration is withdrawn from the deposit amount that's in the trust account. And whatever is remaining is then forwarded on the day of closing to the seller. So going with our example, let us assume that there's two realtors involved, two real estate agents involved, and each side agreed to get paid $25,000, a flat fee. Typically, it's not like this, it's a percentage, but for the sake of simplicity, once again, let's assume as such. So using our figures, what happens is on the day of closing, $25,000 times 2, which is $50,000, gets removed from the $100,000 deposit, $25,000 of which gets paid to that brokerage's own realtor because that realtor was representing the seller and by extension, the brokerage was. And then another $25,000 is forwarded and sent to the cooperating brokerage, the brokerage which the buyer agent works for. So what remains once these two sums are withdrawn is $50,000, which then gets forwarded to the seller. And obviously he gets the remainder $900,000, which because he sold his property for $1 million, not $50,000, right? So the remainder is forwarded from the buyer's lawyer to the seller's lawyer, and then the seller's lawyer gives it to the seller, which I can make a separate video about, and I will in the future. So in summary, basically, the realtors get paid, the money which the realtors get paid comes from the initial deposit, which is held within the trust account of the listing brokerage. In other words, the brokerage which the realtor who is representing the seller works for. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Hopefully that was informative. If you did not, let me know. If you did, also let me know. Feel free to subscribe, comment, rate, and review. You can find my contact information in the description box. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.